This is everybody's day. This is everybody's day. The selfish, self-seeking nature of man came as one of the cracks in our existence in the day that we fell. So I discovered that if men actually love self-centered existence, spirits are excited by sacrifice. So I began to pursue the path of sacrifice, because if you pursue the path of sacrifice long enough, you will be welcomed by a spirit. They love it. They love it. They don't like men who are trying to guard their lives. They like wasting men. I'm not saying be careless, which is a negative. I'm saying be careful. Men who are not seeking reputation, men who will do it because it needs to be done, not because they are going to be rewarded or their names are going to be mentioned. That's what spirits like. I also found out that spirits like to advertise themselves. They love to advertise themselves. The spirits love to advertise themselves. It must be, a man must cooperate with that ambition, that you are willing to house and give your occupying spirit the freedom to flex itself. That's how they become powerful. That a spirit, you come and say, Jesus, you confess with your mouth, you are Lord of my life. Having first believed in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you are saved. Nobody saw the spirit enter you. But as you continue to yield and yield and yield to that spirit that was invisible, your life becomes a theater of expressing the excellencies of that spirit. So we come to prayer, and everybody felt that because you are Yoruba, the only language you can speak is English and Yoruba. No. The spirit wants to show himself that he has languages that humans cannot come into. And as you open your mouth, another language begins to flow. All because you yielded. They said that if somebody is sick, the only thing a human being can do is pele, 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 but your pele brings healing. Because the spirit wants to use your yieldedness to advertise itself. So when they ask you, how did these things win? Say, I'm gifted. This year we must know the spirit. You see, the Holy Ghost does not need to be mechanized to come into operation. It's a self-announcing spirit. It's a self-announcing spirit. The problem with mortals is that we hinder him too much. Acts of the Apostles says that Jesus came, says, having been with them 40 days, for 40 days what Jesus was doing was to show himself alive by many infallible proofs. You don't need to show, you don't need to do anything to show that he's alive. He's looking for space. They say I'm dead, that I'm one of the prophets. They say all these things about my name walking is a scam. Anyway, I resurrected. I gave you a name. I gave you a supervising spirit to ensure that everything I said you will do, you will do. So when we give him an opportunity, he shows himself alive again and again and again and again. Not by just saying I am alive, by many infallible proofs. You know what an infallible proof is? If you take it to any lab in the world, they will know that it's the hand of God that did this thing. What's an altar? The language of the technology by which altars are created is sacrifice. It's a dying place. It's a dying place. If you have an encounter and the encounter does not bring you into the experience of death, that encounter will die. I'm going to say that again. Any encounter that a man has that does not make you progress into a dying place is an encounter that will die. Its effect will not be felt after a while. That's why every time they had an encounter with God, something died. Because when it dies, the life that the encounter brought begins to live. It's the understanding of how the economy of life works. That if something penetrates our realm, it can only be expressed in this realm because something gave it space. Kai, we are not getting it. Just breathe your name upon me. Just breathe your name upon me. Your hair is your name. Breathe, Lord. Don't worry, we'll be out of here by 7. Just breathe your name upon me. 2 more times, just quietly like that.
Just breathe your name upon me.
Hey, don't touch the atmosphere. Just very light like that. Just breathe your name upon me. Your hair is your name. Breathe, Lord. Just breathe your name. Just breathe your name upon me. Just one more time. Just breathe your name. Just breathe your name upon me. Just breathe your name. Just breathe your name upon me. Sakalima Surela Taha. Your name, breathe, Lord. Just breathe your name. Just breathe your name. One more time. One more time. Just breathe your name. Just breathe your name. Your name. Just breathe your name. Just breathe your name. 2 Samuel chapter 24, and that's what I'm looking for. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Now we all know the story of 2 Samuel chapter 24, that there was, the Bible says, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. Another translation says that David was vexed by the devil. Now see the operation. There are certain instructions that God gives. And when God is angry with a man, it's as though his anger opens a gate in the spirit where a man begins to operate against God. Are you with me? We must be keen on these things. Nothing changed though based on the operations of God. He changed not intertestamentally. So it was the anger of God, of the Lord, that was kindled against Israel. And he moved David to say to them, go and number Israel and Judah. There was an injunction in God that Israel was never supposed to repose her strength in warfare by numbers. You see how the 2020 church is weak? Because we think that the more we are, the stronger we are. And numbers was not supposed to be a factor of strength. The strength of Israel was not going to diminish or swell by numbers, because it is not a thing with you, O God, to save with few or with many. So, the anger of God opened that gate and the enemy accessed Israel. Another translation says God was that the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and then Satan tempted him to count. Now his ranking men came to him, men like Joab, and reminded him that, okay, I know you something may be wrong with you, but don't behave like this. We have an injunction that even if we are 5, we can win. Don't count, but he counted. And then God struck. God struck. What God did was that God sent one angel to make Israel know that numbers don't count. I don't know how that angel moved through the army. I still need to learn how angels wield swords. Because a man in a few minutes, maybe, okay, no, it can't be like this. It can't be like this. There's that Asian film that I spoke about. That guy that kept a baby.